Hi everybody, my name is Anne. Welcome to Art on the Creek. I've got a really fun review for us today. We're here in my home studio in Parker, Colorado, and I want to share with you something that was sent to me today to review for you. Many of you have heard of the company Lightwish. They distribute Paul Rubens watercolors. That is a brand that I recommend and love for my beginner watercolor students. It's a professional artist grade watercolor. But when I got my daughter started on watercolors, I chose Mei Lang. Now that is also a subsidiary of Paul Rubens. It's their student line. The set that I got, I'll put a little picture up here so that you guys can see it. You're probably familiar with it. It has a little parrot on the tin. This set is excellent for a student grade set. And I use them. I really like them. And I was kind of sad when my daughter went away to college and she took her paints with her, so I couldn't play with these anymore. But I was approached by the company and they sent me a set that we can look at today. This is the Hitoto set. Let me show it to you here. It's really kind of cool. Look at that fun print. Hitoto is the name of this set, and it is Mei Lang watercolors in tubes. They are tubular, dude. These are really fun. And with these checks and saying tubular watercolors, all I could think of was, well, Vans. So you'll see we're going to do some skater shoes here coming up. And they also sent a really cool journal. Now these are great. This has got a little reflective magnet here on it. But these are great because not only does it have 100% cotton watercolor paper in it, you can just punch holes and refill it with your own watercolor paper. And you have all of this space here to keep whatever it is that you want to bring with you, plus a place to store either a pencil or a pen or your paintbrush. So these will be a lot of fun. I'm excited to take a look at these for you. Look at this texture. Isn't this beautiful? Matches my sweater. So let's get into it. Let's see what these really fun student grade watercolor supplies are like, shall we? I think you might like them. Well, before we dig into the review, many of you know that this is my birthday month. And although both of these cards are not for my birthday, I wanted to show them to you because our channel members here at Art on the Creek are so wonderful. I am so blessed to have you guys in my life. Thank you so much. This first card of these beautiful purple flowers is from Leslie. And this one here of the trail at Lair of the Bear Park is from Kathy. So if you're a channel member, you will be receiving happy mail from me if you give me your address. And maybe I'll be lucky enough to get something from you. That was just done out of the kindness of their hearts, and I appreciate it so much. So let's get into the review and unboxing here. Here it is. It's packaged in a little box, and we have this also to review. This is a journal that they sent. Now this is not a set. They aren't sold together. They're sold separately, but I really like this journal. So let me just take this cellophane wrapper off. These are kind of cool. They're like those pockets, the cellophane pockets, and you can reuse these if you've got a good place to save them because that adhesive strip stays on there really well, and you just fold that flap over. So you can use that to store artwork if you want to gift it to someone or something else. It has a protective little cover on here, so let me just see if I can pull that off. There we go. And that is a very mirrored adornment on there, and I really kind of like it. I think it's pretty cool. Hopefully it won't glare in your eyes too much. It's a magnet closure, which is great. I love it when things close like that. You can see there we've got pockets. There are 4 pockets to put cards and whatnot in, plus additional pockets for other papers or references, memorabilia. This little Pellon piece here goes all the way under the binding bar so that it won't mar the cover with the holes that are punched. Or excuse me, the binder itself. It won't mar the cover. And I really like that magnet closure. The paper that's included in this, let's just take it out. I really think this is almost the best possible way to get a journal because you can continue to use the journal by just refilling it with whatever paper you want. Now this paper is 100% cotton, and it looks to me like it's a hot press texture. Now that I'm doing the voiceover, I can tell you that after I've used it, it acts like a hot press cotton paper, which is to say I really like it. So let's give it a measure here. It looks like it is about 8¼ inches by almost 6 inches. So it's about an A5, a little bit bigger, but that's good because you don't want to have those holes featured in where you are painting, so you can trim those off. And then you've got all these pages to work with. Once again, we've got this place in the back where you can put either a paintbrush or a pen with a little clip on it to help hold it in place. It's a nice generous size loop. I think that journal is going to be a lot of fun, and I love the color green, and it's got a beautiful texture to it. So that is really a tactfully a tactile delight for me. I really enjoy things that have texture and look like they're really going to last. So let me open this up here. This is the Hitoto set, which that's the name of the set. They are the Mei Lang watercolors that are in tube form. So what I'm noticing about these is that they are not light fast, and that is okay. They're considered a student grade a student grade watercolor. And like I showed you in the beginning in the intro, there is that set that comes in the pans, which you can also get from Lightwish. But this set is available as well, which I think is just so wonderful, because once you run out of those half pans, if you really like these paints and want to keep using them, now you can refill. And that's exactly what's going to happen to my set here that they were kind enough to send. I will save this for my daughter so that she can refill her paint pans. And I'm so glad that that I get the chance to finally use these paints, because I can really see what all of the hubbub is about them. They're really pretty great for a student grade paint. Now it's talking about the quality of the materials used, and they do use gum arabic as a binder. You can do all the techniques with these. You can do a flat wash, wet and wet, and then mixing on the paper. And let's see here, the Hitoto series watercolor pigments are all made of pure, genuine powder with excellent light resistance. However, on the back of the box it says that, you know, to keep it out of the light. So take with that what you will. The color saturation is high, transparency is good, and the halo diffusion effect is good. That's, you know, how it moves in water. So I really agree with all of those things, except maybe the light fastness portion. But, you know, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to use these in any kind of art that I will hang on the wall. This is going to be something that, like I said, I will save for my daughter's refills. And I will also continue to use it and enjoy it when I'm working in my journal. I'm just kind of looking at these paints here. I have to be honest with you, this checkerboard pattern, I was skeptical at first, but I decided to embrace it because the print on these tubes is so easy to read. Now, the checkerboards sort of go with what the paint is on there, but not really in my mind. But I mean, you know, kind of. Like, for instance, the in the box there, the one on the left, the white, there are white checks on it. So, I mean, you can kind of tell pictorially what you're looking at, but when it gets to the reds, not so much. So I'm going to, now that I've got this organized here, I can show you. I was comparing to the chart because it seemed like the chart had so many more color samples than I do actually here, and that is true. There are 36 colors available. However, we have 24 in this set, and it is more than enough, you guys. These are mixable. They're really easy to use. All of the tubes, everything squirt out onto the palette really, really well. So I was very happy with that. And you've got all of the pertinent information here on the tubes. You can see it's a transparent watercolor. This is Chinese white, and the pigment is PW6 and PW4. Let's take a look at the next one. This is lemon yellow, and you can see that it is transparent, and it is a PY3. So no surprises. I'm very happy to see what I'm seeing here. They do give them a light fastness rating of stars, but once again, I would assume that these are not light fast if you're going to have anything that you want to hang on the wall. Let me go ahead, and we're going to speed this video up in just a little bit, but I want to squirt these out just a little bit on this palette here so that you guys can get the idea for how they come out of the tube. The tubes were very easy to open. Let me just rearrange this here so that I can get everything in frame. And I'm going to kind of put them out on my palette in the order that they will be in this box. I kind of, the second column I'm working on the first column now, but the second column I kind of rearranged as I was going because I wanted the palette to be kind of consecutive. So here you can see, all that will make sense as we go on. Here you can see them as they come out of the tubes. You've got a really nice selection. You have Chinese white, a couple of yellows, you've got an orange, you've got several shades of red, a magenta, a purple, blues. You have several different kinds. You've got an ultramarine, cobalt, and in between. And we've got a viridian, we've got a leaf green, and then we have all of the earth tones that you would expect. You have yellow ochre, burnt sienna, burnt umber, raw umber, and they include a lamp black here as well as a Payne's gray. So overall, it's a very complete set, and we're just going to set up a swatch card here so that we can create the first page of our journal. I'm just dividing it into 24 little rectangles, and then we'll go through and swatch them. I really like that when they squirted out of the tube, none of them needed to be remixed. Nothing was coming out so quickly, so it was shipped well. Everything was packaged really well, and there were no surprises. The brush that I'm using is a nylon filament brush. It's one that I've come to really like, and on this hot press paper, I tend to like to use a brush that doesn't put out quite as much water. So going through this, I'm discovering that these perform really well. I'm kind of surprised, you guys. I expected them to be kind of streaky and not really easy to use, kind of gummy, but they're not. They act like professional watercolors. Now, again, they're not, but as far as just using and learning with, I'm starting to open my eyes to consider that perhaps these would be a really good alternative to the Paul Rubens set. If you didn't want to pay the Paul Rubens, if you didn't want to pay for that one, then this particular set of Mei Lang in tubes or in half pans, I like tubes, would really be a fun way to really get into watercolor, or like I said, add to your journal. I like that it includes that peach color. A very nice cobalt is in there, and the ultramarine. The other two blues there are, one's a lake blue, and I think, what is the other one, a phthalo or something? I can't remember. I will put the complete color list in the description so you guys can read which paints are in there, and I will also label along with that the pigments used. I want to give it a little smudge test here just to see if the colors are actually staying on the paper, and they are. I'm not coming up with any color on my finger. Trying several different fingers here. I did come up with a little bit of pencil line, but that's to be expected. So overall, I'm pleased, and I think it's time to start painting. We have these particular oak trees in our area. You might have one with a leaf like this as well. They're very waxy, thick leaves. They're one of the latest ones to turn, one of the last leaves on the trees to turn. And they start by little hints of yellow, and then they turn this orange that segues into the most beautiful ruby red. So right now they're kind of in that transitional phase, and I just really love them. So I thought we would do one of these today. Now, I don't have this for you on YouTube as a tutorial. If you would like a tutorial on either of the things that we're going to paint today, let me know in the comments, and I'll be happy to do that for you. I can make that a tutorial. They're both pretty easy. And I really like doing something like this with a leaf because a lot of times you just want painting that you can just relax, play with, and have fun. And for all of you hobby artists out there, this is really a great set to do just that. You'll see what I'm doing primarily with this is a lot of wet and wet techniques. I love seeing the paints mix on the paper. And I wanted to see how this paper could hold up to several layers, to a lot of water. I have no complaints. I was very, very pleased. I could force cauliflower blooms. I could lift. I could add pigments so that it mixed on the paper while it was damp. Really just loads and loads of fun. And I never had any issues whatsoever while I was painting this leaf. And you can see as it sped up there, some of those forced cauliflower blooms just really created those beautiful spots on the leaves. On the leaf, and then adding some green in with the red, we're getting some real natural color mixes. So this was a lot of fun. And like I said, if you want a tutorial on this one, no problem. We can certainly do that. It was just so fun to do, to not even have to think about drawing. You can just find a leaf and trace it. You just don't need to draw. This one I do want to draw, though. This is the one that was really popped in my head for the moment that I saw this packaging with that checkerboard. It's just classic Vans skater shoes. So, you know, this isn't sponsored by Vans. I don't have any association with that brand at all. But as I said in the intro, when these are listed as tubular watercolors, that made me think of my senior year in high school when tubular was a pretty common slang word. And the most popular movie in that year was Fast Times at Ridgemont High. If not the most popular, it certainly was one of the most popular. And it was just really fun to see that checker pattern and be taken back to those days when I had no cares in the world other than to watch fun movies about kids growing up. And that movie was a real coming of age for many of us. And I think that a lot of you can relate to the Vans, that scene where Jeff Spicoli is... I think he hits himself in the head with one of these shoes. He's on the phone with somebody and he hits himself in the head with the shoe. But Vans were popular. I think they were mainly in the 80s, in the early 80s, they were mainly only in California because I think they were really appealed to the surf crowd. And for skateboarders, that phenomenon didn't even really happen in Colorado until much later. So we were kind of late to the Vans game, but they're fun shoes. What I'm doing here, I'm using a few different brushes. This is a liner brush that I'm using, and the paints work very well with it. The larger brush that I used is a 12 long round, and again, worked very well with that also. Each brush that I'm using has a different filament, so I wanted to test that as well. Didn't have any issues at all. I really liked being able to put in this case on the shoe, the dirt, they're not clean shoes here, that layer of color down first in kind of a dry brush technique. That worked really great with the paper, which I was pleased because sometimes that's really hard to achieve on hot press paper. And then filling in these checkerboards was fun. It was super easy. Putting the shadows in on the cuffs and the pants and then going back in for a second layer, as you'll see here. We do a little more details on those cuffs on the pants and on the socks. Everything was just so easy, and I felt like I was using professional paints. The only time I encountered, I'm not even going to call it a hiccup or a speed bump because it was completely easy to overcome, was with the burnt sienna and the sap green. Those two colors were just simply different than I have encountered before. And as an artist, you can mix. You can create your own greens. In this set, you have plenty of blues and yellows to choose from, including a yellow ochre. And those greens, you can tone them. You can mix with any of reds. You've got about 3 or 4 reds to choose from here. The burnt sienna, you can tone it down with any of the colors that you see. So I just felt like it was fine. Everything about this set is completely fine, and it is easy to use. It feels like professional watercolor, and that's what I really, really like. I don't know how much I can emphasize that about the feel. The way that these paints perform and the way that they act on this paper is the same way that professional paints will perform and act. So when you are experiencing a student grade paint for the first time, and if those paints are frustrating you, if they're gummy or sticky or they're not spreading, they're not blending, they don't mix well, that can be extremely frustrating. None of that happened here. None of that was encountered at all when I was testing on these two paintings. This one too, by the way, I don't have a tutorial up on YouTube, and if you wanted to learn how to paint Vans or some other tennis shoes, then let me know and we can have some fun painting shoes. Just let me know in the comments what you'd like a tutorial on, and we can certainly take care of that. It's always fun to hear from you guys, to see what you like to do. And in fact, if you are interested in having a little more say in what tutorials appear on the channel, that's a privilege that I certainly extend to my channel members. One of your benefits is that you are able to have real say in what tutorials you would like to choose. Sometimes I will just take suggestions. Other times I provide several different photos. So consider that. There will be a link down below if you wanted to consider a channel membership. But right now, I think most of us are thinking about holiday gift giving, either for ourselves or for a dear friend or someone in our family. And this Hitoto set of watercolor tubes and this journal might be something that would really work for you and your gift giving needs this holiday season. You guys, I sure had fun showing you this set of watercolors in this really cool journal. If it interests you, there will be some affiliate links in the description below, and I thank you in advance for using those and helping the channel. Take care, everyone. Have a really great week, and I hope someone makes you smile today. Take care. Bye now.